Okay, 2 minutes late. Sorry. I'm 2 minutes late. So let's give everybody just a minute to see if anybody shows up. I know that sometimes StreamYard can be a little bit more difficult for people to get the notifications from YouTube. So take your time. I'm actually in communication with our guest right now. So everybody, when you come in, just give me a heads up and let me know you're here. We were going to do a couples check-in, and David has gone to the back porch to enjoy the rain that's coming through. Hand me that bobcat, David. I'll show it to him. He says he'll do an event later so that you all can watch him. So we are going to have a guest. This video will stay up for the next week or two. Well, it should stay on my channel for a long time, but it should be prominent for the next week or two in case you all want to go back and rewatch it, watch it again. That's great. This is going to be something that I think everyone will enjoy. We're trying to get the musical stuff established. I know that a lot of you all are actually having storms and lots of rain. We actually had some weather issues as well from all these storm systems, and it's been a pain in the butt. Our internet kept recycling and trying to reroute yesterday. It was pain in the absolute hind end. So I've got one with me now, guys. We're fixing to have a special guest, and this is going to be something that I'm really excited to share with you all. And he's preparing right now. He's going to come in and do some music for you. He's a very talented young man, somebody I've known since he was in second and third grade. And I'm really excited to introduce you all to him. So if you're in the chat, please give me a heads up, say howdy. I know StreamYard is kind of janky this evening. Not quite sure what's going on. But we're here. It's the only way that I can actually pull him into the chat, so we have to use StreamYard. So we'll get through this one way or the other. If not, then once it cycles and appears on my page, you can go back and watch it as many times as you want. I'm sure you're going to enjoy this young man's story. And if we get through next week as a family, I'm going to be amazed, because next week is the beginning of the 127 corridor sale. And David is absolutely working himself to death to get ready. I am also trying to do everything that I can to help him that I'm physically able to do. I'm still kind of weak and not doing a whole lot from where I had that super bad RSD attack. But I'm trying to help him get ready and get some stuff done. I did finish my first Native American rattle today, and it was so pretty. I posted pictures on the community tab, and I'm really proud of it. It turned into something that I'm really, really tickled with. So if you want to, go check out the community tab and see the pictures of the Native American rattle that I made. And apparently it's a music theme tonight, because along with the rattle, we're going to have a musical guest. So I'm super excited, and he should be logging in any moment. to jump in and have a conversation with us. And I think you're going to really enjoy his story and this young man's motivation. And it's going to be very interesting to hear about somebody from Appalachia that has gone on to have such success and basically um, travel and tour the world just based on his own talent. So while I'm waiting for y'all to trickle in, I'm going to give him a shout and see how he's doing. Was afraid I wasn't going to be able to do this because my internet has been crazy for the last couple of days. So I'm glad that it's working out right now. It's 8 o'clock. I know you normally anticipate me around 8:30. I'm a little early because I wanted to not take up his whole evening. So we will try to get underway in just a minute. StreamYard is still something I'm learning, and it's got so many facets to it that I'm still not very good at. So it's still something I'm having to learn. And I'm going to try to mute myself um, while he is um, singing for us and performing for us. And if there is an echo, please let me know in the chat that there is an echo. Otherwise, I won't know. So as he's performing, if you hear something from my end of the microphone, please let me know. And I'm going to try to remember to always mute and unmute again when I need to talk. So just let me know. Okay, it looks like we have Jordan in the backup in the studio. So I'm waiting for him to give me a thumbs up and we can get started. As you come in, just say howdy to him. That would be very nice. Are you ready? He says he's ready, guys. Here we go.
How's it going, guys?
You just
Oh
sit.
wow, I can't see what to look at. Let's see. How can I see? Is there people saying, or will there be like
When
things I
they
can read?
put stuff, I will click on it so that it will come up on the screen so that you can read it, so that
Okay.
everyone can read it. We're having a slow start. StreamYard is being extremely slow today, but considering that I had internet problems for the last 3 days, it doesn't surprise me. So I'm just glad we're here. But regardless, we'll put this up on my YouTube page and people can come back and enjoy it as many times as they want to. Now I want you to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you, your name, where you're from, things you enjoy, stuff like that.
Okay, just the Cliff Notes. Well, my name is Jordan Long, formerly Jordan Wright, but that's my legal name. But I took on my mama's maiden name to keep that connection to the family. So I'm professionally known as Jordan Long. That's how you'll find me on Instagram, Jordan Timothy Long. I'm from the glorious town of Jamestown, Tennessee, the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, and I grew up with more energy than one single human should have, and so I got in a lot of trouble in school until I met Miss Elizabeth here. Well, she met me. I didn't know who in the world she was, but she saw me and was like, and so she started me in some clogging lessons because what better way to funnel energy than through dance? And I took a liking. Well, I guess I should say it took a liking to me. It just kind of took me over. It was like, I don't know if anybody's seen the Elvis movie, but when the music would take over and his legs just start going uncontrollably, it was like that kind of feeling.
Exactly.
But so much so that I couldn't even sit still in class. I would be practicing clogging steps, and the teachers had to be like, "I'm trying to teach." Shh. But that was kind of what opened the door to performing. Really, that was what put me in front of an audience. That was the first thing, and then that's what really took hold. And so, I was clogging everywhere, got to actually dance with a competitive team, which took me to the Grand Ole Opry
Mhm.
eventually after winning the championship. And then from there, I got to really like in Nashville. And so I decided to go to school here so that I could keep dancing at the Opry. Because after I danced at the Opry as like an award for winning the competition, the Opry was like, why don't we just give you a job? And it helped that I was dating a feller that was also a dancer. That didn't hurt
Yeah,
none.
yeah, and it was the saddest day for me. I remember when we finally looked at you and said, "We've taught you all we can teach you. You need to move on." But that was, I think, that was the right thing to do, considering that when we told you to move on, everything just kind of blossomed. And you said you won the championship. Tell us where you won that at.
That was in Maggie Valley, North Carolina. Yeah, I should always give these shout outs, man. Maggie Valley, I spent many competition seasons, fall of the year in the mountains of Maggie Valley, and we would dance in the stomping ground. And the competitive team that I danced with, we won frequently, but the year that I think it was like the third year that I went with them, we won like the entire overall, which meant that we got to go to the Opry.
I
And
was so
so that's how it started.
so proud of you. Now, you went to the Opry and you did square danced at the Opry, correct?
Yeah, for all 4 years of college.
Which was amazing because I got to watch the videos and go, oh, there he is. Oh, there he is. It was very nice for me. Um, but after that, you actually wanted to stay in kind of a theater mindset. So you did what a lot of theater kids do after they graduate. You started going to these big theme parks that put on these big productions, right?
Yes, yeah. So it was between sophomore and junior year of college that I auditioned for and got cast as the Country Singer Boy 3 and Clogger at Holiday World and Splash and Safari in the beautiful and fabulous exotic Santa Claus, Indiana. And I did that actually 2 summers in a row. I loved it so much the first year I came back for a second helping. Uh, and it did not disappoint. It was such a trip. It could have been a reality show. We say that.
I think anything probably with you could probably be a real.
Yeah, and there's about 17 of us, all with very similar boisterous personalities that were in the arts and performers and entertainers by heart. And so you put a bunch of youngsters in a house like that. We were living in a double decker, double wide, beautiful like mobile home setup with like 12 bedrooms. It was crazy. And then performing 4 shows a day outside in the heat, and then hanging out in Indiana doing corn mazes and stuff.
And you're still really close. You're still really close with some of the people you worked with there, aren't you?
Yeah. Yes. Actually, my roommate from that first gig, we ended up doing our first Broadway national tour together, the national tour of Joseph. We came to rehearsal on the first day and we're like, hey, you got the job. And that was cool. It had been years since I'd seen her.
So tell us a little bit about your transition into kind of the big roles.
Um, you mean transitioning from the first show to the second?
Well, from Santa Claus, Indiana, to where you were actually touring with the troupe,
Oh,
doing the shows on stage, and because the epitome of my bonus moment life was going to see you in Rent. Um,
oh
but
yeah.
but I want you to tell them kind of everything that led up to that.
Oh, okay. So those 2 summers in Santa Claus were it's like the boot camp, like a performer's boot camp, and so it really trained me to have stamina and all that, and also how to navigate a world full of performers. Because coming from where I come from, I had not encountered people like this that were just on all the time, right?
Yeah.
And you just had to like be ready to like have a whole scene with somebody. But I went on and finished my degree in musical theater from Belmont University, and then directly after graduating, I got the opportunity to go play a young Frank Sinatra in an American music show in Germany, and that was my first, I guess, big gig you could say out of school, was performing internationally. And that was another like production show, and in the evenings I would be like an extra in this like beautiful outdoor, all in German horseback explosion, real boats on the water, soundstage, incredible drama in Germany. It was unreal. So that was like another little fairy tale, and I actually had to leave that contract early because I had booked the swing track on the national tour of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Your
And that's how that happened.
your pictures from Germany. Like I stalked you all over the internet. Keep up with your photos because you were so busy. I mean, when you're young and you move on and you're tackling life, it's like we understand it at our age. We kind of take a back seat. But I was totally internet stalking you to make sure that you were doing well. And then I was like enjoying seeing the places you were going because it's things that I would have liked to have done, had I had a different opportunity in a different life. So I think that's why when I saw you and I saw such energy and vivaciousness, I was like, I'm not going to let him stay in Jamestown, Tennessee.
And I'm so glad that you pushed me in that way. And my mom was also, I can very clearly remember her being like, go and do.
Yeah. Go get out
Experience.
there, experience more of the world. Yeah. And
Yeah.
you have taken to it like a duck to water. I mean, you do not. I mean, you blend in very well when you come visit at home. You do.
Yeah.
You're
Do
creme de
I?
la creme. You know, you make the nice meals and you serve things on these beautiful little decorated trays, and you kind of bring a little class to us when we visit. But you still come home and you still bond with your friends that you've had since grade school.
Oh yeah, literally just went to our 11-year school reunion. Leave it to our class to be the 11 years, right? We were going to have it the year before, and of course, Miss Rona said no. uh, so we had it just literally a couple weekends ago, and it was unreal to see all those people, and we just hugged each other's necks, and we talked, and we were like, me and Nicole and Lauren all showed up together, of course,
Of
and we're
course.
like, we'll just pass through like an hour, say hi to everybody, be cordial, have a little sip of something. Sawbrier's nice. We might get a taco, and then we're out.
Stay the whole night.
We were the last ones to leave, Liz. So, it was just really cool to have that bonding moment. I didn't expect it to happen, and it sure did. But I stay in touch with those two, of course, every single time I come home.
You still do quite a bit. I mean, you keep in touch with me, and that's something you don't have to do. I appreciate it, but you certainly don't have to do that.
Oh, I do have to do it though.
You do have to. Well,
I have to do it.
remember,
Yeah, for me.
if the audience, if you're going to rewatch this, I saw him the first time I saw him. He was walking to the principal's office with his head down, and he looked so sad. And I said, "What's the matter?" Because I was tutoring for AmeriCorps, and I was like, "What's the matter?" And he was like, "I got in trouble again because I can't be still." And in my head, I went, "This boy needs to be in clogging class."
Of
So
course.
it just matched. But I actually you were with me so much there for a span of like 8 or 9 years that
Hmm.
I treated you just like one of my own. And we
You
got
taught me how to do the quadratic formula. You
oh yes,
tutored me in
I did.
math,
Yes, I
literally.
remember that.
Yeah.
Yes, I can still
I
remember
do
that.
too.
But I got to where I could just give you the same glances I gave my own children, and you were like, "Oh," you were like, "Okay." But my kids just kind of refer to you as a sibling, especially Haley.
No.
So it was super nice. And now Jonah's the same way. Jonah's here every other week. So it's been. I know this sounds horrible, but it's been just so good for me to have these relationships. So I love
I
your
agree.
dog, by the way. He takes such
Yeah,
good.
yeah, come here, get up here. This Dexter, he's a large boy, and he likes to get into the trash. And I just had to I tried to inconspicuously dig a piece of toilet paper out of his mouth.
Oh, all dogs do that. We used to have a party dog, and it was the largest dog. Bless his heart. We had him for so many years, but he was not very smart. Bless his heart, but we loved him.
He's a
Um,
doof, but he's smart. Yeah.
bless the heart. Um, okay, now the epitome of you did the Joseph thing, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, you transitioned into.
I did Rent. Yeah. I the swing job was not my gig, but it sure taught me a lot. I'm glad
Mhm.
that I had to have that kind of responsibility because it's ridiculous to have to try to learn that much. And so it was another, just like Holiday World was its own stamina boot camp. This was like a mind game thing. So I got my master's in musical theater, it felt like. And then I auditioned for, actually here in Nashville, I auditioned for Rent, and um, it just it felt like this is what I was supposed to do. And the casting director came up and talked to me afterwards, and she was like, "I'm going to pull you in for the producer." She's like, "But I want you to go home and I want you to work on this song, and I want you to really feel it, like really give it to us. She's like, you can book this role, but you got to give it. And I was like, okay. She was like, give me this like very you type of like, I see it in you. Come on out.
Pull it out.
How lucky am I that I've had so many people in my life do that. But I went in and I sang that song, One Song Glory, that one song glory, one song before I go. And so I sang that for her and the producer. He clapped. She's crying. So I was like,
I
okay.
understand that. When you
Yeah,
said
I
solo
figured
and
it out.
went, I bawled my eyes out. I
It's
bawled
such
my
a
eyes out.
good
Like,
show.
we had bought balcony seats. Me and Haley, we had bought balcony seats, and you were not okay with that. So you had us pulled up into the front, into like the family. And I was like, wow.
I want to be able to see you.
It's like, I'm the bonus mom. And we literally, when you started singing your solo up on that balcony on stage, I started bawling my eyes out. Looked at Haley, and she was bawling her eyes out. Your mom was bawling her eyes out, and I was like, we're just horrible right now. But it was such a proud moment to know, that I've got a lot of bonus kids. Like, really, I've got a lot of bonus kids. But to see one that I pulled out of the hallway that was going to the principal's office and said, you should not be in trouble. This is a skill set. You should be embracing this. You should be working on this. This is not a bad thing. Why do people think this is a bad thing? And I will say that after you started clogging, I had so many teachers come up to me and they were like, thank you. They were like, he is so mellow in class now. They're like, it's like a different child is sitting in class. And I was like, it's just all about funneling that energy. And because I think you were on the cusp of thinking you were a bad kid.
I definitely was. I was that little tender-hearted baby that just wanted to like, I've always had all this extra energy and like never been stingy with it. And so I've always wanted to share with people. I always wanted to talk to people. Yeah, and connect with people. And I just didn't understand at that age that you couldn't do that when the teacher was trying to teach. Just for a little kid with ADHD who just was like, God, I just love everybody so much.
Difficult. It's difficult.
It's hard to stay out of trouble. But I often say this to people. I was like, she sees people's superpowers instead of their weaknesses. And that was my superpower.
I was like, this is not a bad kid. I was like, I will take him in 5 seconds. He can just belong to me. But I was so tickled because you honestly picked up on stuff so quickly, and you acclimated to change in any way of performing. And I put you on the spot a lot, especially when you got into 7th, 8th grade. I put you on the spot a lot. And so I'd say, okay, Jordan, go do a solo. Get out there. I'm going to give you 2.5 minutes. Go dance. And you never failed me. You never failed me. But I also knew I needed to do that to you because Mom and I had discussed that we were coming to an end with what we could teach you, and we were going to have to send you elsewhere. And to send you elsewhere, we needed you to be able to snap perform and really grab the attention of the people that you were going to go and try to get into their groups. And so that's what it was sad because I knew what I was doing was going to push you away and push you somewhere else. But I also knew that you had to go that way if you were going to succeed. And it was hard for me to let you go because it was like losing my own child. It was like I can't go with him, but it was something that had to be done because I knew you were made for way more than what I was capable to teach you. You were passing me up in steps at that point, and I was actually very good at that young age.
You were
good. I was much skinnier and much more coordinated, but you had passed me up. So you were so far beyond my skill level. It would have been a travesty to have tried to have kept you, even though you were a great crowd gatherer. When we take, it just wouldn't have been fair to you. And so me and Mom prepped, and we were like, we've got to push him. We've got to let him go. And I was like, okay, well, this next year, let's really put him on the spot a lot and develop his showmanship, which was something that really you did not. You didn't really need developed. You just needed a spot to display it because it was already there. You just needed somebody to go. You got 2 minutes, go, and you knew exactly what you were going to do. So
it definitely involved some sort of a cartwheel and a split. I know that.
And a moonwalk in cloth.
There was always something, even if it was on asphalt. That was going to be involved.
I was worried. Yeah, there were a couple times I was like, "Don't do that. You're going to break something." And I was like, "I'm going to take him home broken," Uh,
Yeah.
but you had the showmanship, and I saw it in you at such a young age. And it was literally the first time you put your arms up and took a bow at our first fundraiser where we were trying to get money for the cans and everything. When you put your arms up and crossed your feet and took that bow, and the crowd went crazy, I was like, he's got to go. It broke my heart, but I was like, he's got to go. He's not meant for here. He's meant to go well beyond. So, but you did end up in the Rent Tour, and tell us a little bit about the role you played
So I was Steve and various others.
in various.
Um,
Yes.
and I also was one of the few gentlemen in the history of the entire show to get to understudy both Roger and Mark. Because you're usually one or the other.
Yep.
But I had this quirkiness about me that I could like somehow pull both off somehow. And so I sang the "Will I Lose My Dignity?" That was my solo, and that was, of course, a lot of people's one of their favorite songs. It was my favorite song to sing every night. And I got to do the honest living, honest living, honest living, honest living with the squeegee. I was the squeegee guy, and I danced. What's hilarious is I danced all the fun like breathy things, and then there was one really hard routine called contact that was like very heavy and difficult. I didn't have to do that. I could say I didn't have to do that one. But I would also get to be the waiter that says, "So that's 5 miso soup, 4 seaweed salad, 3 soy burger, dinner, 2 tofu dog platter, and 1 pasta with meatless balls." I remember that.
And it's to be till you're way old. You'll be saying
it'll be on my tombstone.
probably.
But I got to play all the fun roles, and then when the occasion called for it, I got to step on and be the lead, which was like the coolest. I had to play a drug addicted rock star or a like quirky Jewish movie making nerd with glasses.
But
so
you nailed them both. And when you sent me pictures that night that you actually got to play the lead, you looked like you had been in that role forever.
Oh yeah, it was fun.
I mean, you
They painted my
transformed.
nails and everything. Yeah,
Yeah, you
I mean,
transformed, and I was like, he could have been doing that from the start. So I was super proud of you. Super proud of you.
thank you.
So this is really actually, I mean, you've done a lot in your life, but you also do personal training.
Yep. While I
Which
was in New York City, I got certified. Yeah.
probably could benefit from.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Yeah,
but you took that. You've always been very aware of your body and your presentation, and it comes from being on the stage and being acutely aware of your body and the way it looks and the way it needs to look for certain roles. So when you took on personal training and started really helping others, it didn't surprise me at all. But what made you actually start helping other people?
um getting myself in shape, and not just physically, but like developing a healthy relationship with food, a realistic relationship with the gym, and an extremely deep sense of love and appreciation for my body as it is and as it will continue to be. It changed my entire life. And so I, in New York, was struggling with a very expensive college degree and Tony winners on my resume. I was serving tables and catering, and that is not a slight to the service industry. If I had to today, I would pick up my apron and be ready to go. And I remember how to box a table with a tablecloth for a catering event. But I just remember struggling really bad. I was like, this is not me. This is not what I do.
Yeah.
And my friend Michaela, we had a phone call one day, and she kicked my, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "You are passionate about fitness and wellness. There is a whole career out there. Here's the website. Go get certified." I did. Took me 2 tries. I failed the test the first time, and Jordan, don't give up.
No, you
I
don't.
always no. There was many a steps it took me a long time to learn how to do, but I can do them in my sleep now. And so I went back and I studied, and I worked really, really hard, and I got certified. And then I got a job at a very bougie gym, and taught the very bougie people in New York. And then when the pandemic happened, all of that went
Yeah.
bye. And when everybody else seemed to, not everybody else, let me rephrase that. When everyone around me seemed to be like, well, what's on TV?
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm going to start a business. And so I started taking every class, every webinar, reading all the literature, reading all the articles, learning how to become an online fitness and nutrition coach. And then it was through that training that I learned that you have to have not just a personality or a brand, but you have to have an entire philosophy behind why you do it. And it all boils down to I want to feel good,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to look good, and I want to be good for as long as I can.
And you want to
How
make
help?
it feel the same way.
Yeah, and I want to do that for everyone who will enlist me. And right now I'm working with 15 different clients, which is the most I've ever had, and everyone is experiencing a very delicious amount of success. Everyone is just really enjoying the process. It's affordably priced, and I opened it up to more people, and it's one of the most fulfilling things I've ever done is to help people. Just it clicks for them. They're like, oh my gosh, changing my physiological self
Mm-hmm.
affects my emotional self. My emotional self affects my psychological self, and that's my decision makers. My decisions create my reality. My whole life is better because of this, and I'm like, see, that's what
Yeah,
it does.
and I'm very aware of that too because I was such a glorified Amazon for the majority of my life, and then when I got injured, I changed. You don't know, I changed so much after my injury and after all my surgeries, and then when I got diagnosed, it was just kind of like I crashed and burned for a while, and I had to reassess who I was and what I was capable of and where my power was now because
Mm.
it wasn't in the physical components and being the scariest woman in the room, which I really
You still
enjoy.
are. You still are.
Yeah, I enjoy that, but I'm not who I used to be. So yeah, it changes your whole relationship with yourself when your body changes.
Mhm.
And it was just a couple years ago when the neuromuscular disorder started affecting my pancreas, and you actually started training people, and I started paying attention and being more careful and changed the way I ate. And at this point, I think I've lost like 45 pounds, and I'm
Wonderful.
kind of stuck at the moment, but it's okay because my doctor's like my blood work last week was better than it's been in like 8 years, Jordan. So I've lost quite a bit of
Good.
weight, and we're going to embark on a new journey in January when there's a program coming into the area, and I'm going to be joining it, and so I'm going to try to get more of the weight off. But there for a little while, I was on so much medications to keep me alive
Mhm.
and to keep my pancreas functioning that I just swelled and got so big. But it does, it changes your whole relationship with yourself. And I dare say that you probably changed your relationship with your ADHD when you started training and and finding that key of helping other people. It probably changed the way that you talk to yourself and related to yourself.
100%. And
So
what I would add on top of it is my most recent practices of mindfulness, making sure that your mental health is like in check and that your emotions are in check. And then of course your physical body's in check. When everything works together, mind, heart, and body, you do great things and you feel good. And
yeah,
it's important.
you can almost will things into existence.
Yeah, law of
When you're
attraction.
Yeah, well, you can almost will them into existence when you're there. It's like I think that's what happened to me in 2016 when I met Phoebe. I will
Yep.
that I will that into
You
existence,
sure did. You sure
and
did.
baby, it happened. So that was the best year. That was and then having you and Jonah go with me a couple years later, that was just
How
it was
perfect,
just
right?
a mom moment. I just enjoyed it so much. So um, it's nice, and it's nice to know. It's nice when I go onto Instagram and I follow your page and I see that Peter Freestone liked.
I'm making cinnamon rolls while we're doing this, by
Are
the
you
way.
burning them? It's nice to see more
No, I've just got a
pictures.
super, you know what, for a smoke detector, but I'm glad that
Oh,
she's sensitive.
very sensitive. Well, that's good.
Go on. Sorry.
I get really happy though when I look at your pictures and I see that Peter Freestone has liked all your photos and that he keeps up with you. And I
Oh,
know
he
that
sure
when
does.
we
We
talk,
talk.
yeah, when he talks to me, he asks about you and he asks about Jonah. He asks about
Love
my
that man.
children. He sent Haley a graduation wish and video, and he sent Lane and Kaylee a wedding. It was magical for me to get to introduce you all. So
Mm.
that was just like for me, that was something that I wanted to do for you, because I thought it's such a big moment when you have somebody that's an icon in your world, like Freddie Mercury was for me, to meet people that was around him and that influenced his behavior and his circle and his artistry and his ingenuity. And so it's always nice to meet the people that he surrounded himself with, because you could pick up why he surrounded himself with him. And it was so important for you all to meet Mr. Freestone, because he is like the most calming sensation in the world. It's like you
What
can't.
do you call him?
He's walking Xanax. Like, you can't be mad at him. It's
No,
just
he
like
just
you're so happy
yeah.
to be with him. It's just, and he was really, really just amazed at your showmanship when you performed at Breakthrough.
Oh,
And I mean, he was just like, this young man's going to go far. So he's tickled with you, and I'm just so happy he keeps up with you. But we all keep up with you because of your talents. And so I won't keep you much longer, but if you don't mind, if you would like to finish the ditty that we interrupted when I pulled you in, we would love to
yeah.
hear a little bit of a song. And I'll mute myself so it won't echo.
Okay. Well, hopefully it won't like override the speakers.
You go ahead
But
and put a belt. You just go right ahead.
just go right ahead and do it.
Go right
All
ahead.
right. Let's see. I was doing a little Elton John tune. Don't wish it away. Don't look at it like it's forever. Between you and me, I can honestly say that things will only get better. And while I'm away, dust off the demons inside. And it won't be long before you and me run to the place in our hearts where we hide. And I guess that's why they call it the blues. Time on my hands could be time spent with you, laughing like children, living like lovers, rolling like thunder under the covers. And I guess that's why they call it the blues. How's that?
That was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. That's actually one of the best Elton John covers I've ever heard.
Oh, listen, we were on a cruise ship in Alaska. Oh, and by the way, the Nashville Tenors, look them up. They're good.
Well, yeah,
We
they're
can talk about
good. You're
them.
with them.
Yeah, but all the people that view it should check them out. The Nashville Tenors. It's the band that I sing with now. And we were just in Alaska, and there was a fellow named Andy Elton from the UK himself, and he was an Elton John act. And my Lord, he looked the part, and that piano was all sparkly, but he started saying "Benny the Jets" about 10 seconds in. Like I'm good. But
Who is it that plays that?
that's hard act to follow.
I'm drawing a blank. Who played it? He played Freddie Mercury in one of the first televised documentaries. Oh my gosh, why am I drawing? It's from Australia. Oh my gosh, I've got a post that he
I
signed and
follow
sent to
him.
me. Why am I
So
drawing a
good.
blank? But he signed, and I actually sent him videos of you, and he was just like, it's like, I can't sing anywhere near that well.
Oh,
And
now
he
he
was
should
like,
hush. He's unreal.
he's like, I have a career going all over, like from the United Kingdom and all through Europe and Italy and Australia, New Zealand. And he's like, this young man is just phenomenal. And I'm like, yeah, I know. So, but he's a sweetie pie.
Thank
But
you.
I try to share you as much as possible, and everyone I show you with is super impressed with your talent. I like your snarky attitude. That's my favorite thing about you is your snarky attitude, because you're very proper most of the time, and then every once in a while you'll say something, and I'm just like, don't laugh, because it will just
and
embarrass you.
I just did it a second ago.
I'm like, don't laugh. It will encourage him. But then I gave up when you became, you got old enough to where I didn't have to watch myself so closely. I laughed at your jokes because they were really good. But you sang a song the other day about people's internal voice and what they
Oh my
need to
gosh.
say to themselves. So we all have that internal voice that is like, it's kind of, it's we kind of self sabotage and we tell ourselves that we're not good enough and that we shouldn't try things or attempt things. And I was on your Instagram page and you sang this little ditty and I actually had you send it to me so I could play it for my mother.
Oh my gosh. Can you cut to that? Do you still have that video?
I don't. Like I thought I did, and I was going back and looking, and it won't play for me anymore. So I don't know what happened. But oh my gosh, it was so great. Do you remember that?
I don't remember how to play the chords, but it was just Ariana Grande. I said so. RuPaul calls it the inner saboteur, right? And I've named mine because I thought, well, you live in my head, damn it. I might as well
That's great.
have you, And so I call him Eugene. And so when he gets to mouthing off and saying stuff, I sing that Ariana Grande song. Shut up, baby, you should shut up. Blim, 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 blim. Little cute
I
song.
love that. I love that. Like, man, I just need that as like on my phone to listen to about 15 times every day. And I was trying to, tell my mother about it, and I was like, you just have to listen. And so I messaged you and you sent it to me. And if I can get it, if I can find it or get it to play again, I will absolutely throw it in a video. I laughed for 2 days over that, and literally just pushed play probably 500 times on the phone to listen to it, because I think that is what
That's
a lot
funny.
of people do is they self sabotage and they know what
Mm-hmm.
they're good at, they find their skill set, but they listen to other people much like when you were in third grade and you listen to people that are external. Well, people that are external don't know what you've got internally.
Right.
And you should never listen to someone who's external because they do not know what you're built of, what you're made of, and what you have that's shining down deep inside. And so I wish that, like, every kid that had doubts and listened to other people had that little song to play to tell that little voice in their head to shut up, but it's in a funny way and it's kind of uplifting and it kind of reminds you, oh yeah, I can listen to me. I don't have to listen to anyone else, and I don't have to swallow their words or regurgitate them. I can have my own thought process and
Exactly.
my own belief. I just thought
Yep.
that was the best thing. I laughed for days over that, and I played that 5,000 times. That was my like absolute favorite like Jordan moment that I've had in probably 10 months, I'd say. So
I'll make sure you got it. I'll send it again. I'm sure it's saved like one of my stories.
I will absolutely put it into a video. And I'm sure I've had internet issues, and StreamYard has been a booger.
Oh,
Normally, I have about 15 to 20 people to pop in, and they're regulars, and they're always with me this time. But we're gonna put this up and let them watch it, and we'll get some feedback from them. You'll be able to come back, and as they comment under the video, you'll be able to see what they say.
oh, wonderful! I can't wait.
If we get good positive vibes, maybe we could have you come back in a few months and do another couple of songs for us and just check in,
Sure.
just know how you're doing. And of course, your brother's been on my videos a lot lately, Jonah.
Oh,
Yes, he's been in two
I
or
need to
three
go look at these. I
videos.
need to go look at these. Yeah,
He
I need to
actually
go
helped
watch
me
these.
Rick roll everyone on my channel, and that was the most. That was the best. That was the best thing. I was like, I'd gotten really sick and I'd been gone for about a week and a half when I had that bad RSD attack a couple weeks ago. And I was like, I'm finally feeling better, and I'm finally wanting to do something that I've thought about for a very, very long time. And then it cut to him playing "Never Gonna Give You," and I was like, "You got Rick rolled," and
Hey.
everybody's like, "Okay, she's feeling better because she's being snotty." But anyway, that was great. And the first evening that I felt like having company, he came over and just basically did a full-on concert for me, and
Good.
had me laughing and just rolling. He mowed my
It's
yard.
time. It's time that we build him a set so that he can start pitching it to places and going and doing it.
Yeah,
Right? Like he's ready. He can do it.
I'm trying to get him into, like, he actually sung some songs and sent it to me so I could do a video with him singing some songs.
Oh, good.
And so I'm trying to kind of push him because he's super talented too. Like, I don't know what was in the mix, but apparently you all both got Stardust because it's just
Just a
amazing.
sprinkle.
It's just amazing. I have a leprechaun that climbs trees and a little girl that likes to take animals apart. And it's so
Hey,
strange because my children are not performers. They're not entertainers, and but they're very direct about who they want to be. But I always thought with my
That's what's
outlandish,
important.
yeah, I thought with my outlandish attitude, I would have like at least one kid that was like super loud and somewhere on a stage. But I guess that's you for me.
Yep.
So yeah, it's like that's you for me. But I really think that Jonah has the capacity to be there too.
100%.
I
Yep.
really do, and so I'm pushing him pretty. I'm lighting a fire in his hind end pretty hard right
You're
now.
doing exactly for him what you did for me. It's just at a different stage, and you're approaching it as such. You were able to be gentler with me because I was a softer piece of clay to mold. Oh, you can cut that out if you want
Lord,
to.
we won't talk about the times I had to be like, "Where are you, Jonah? Where are you?" Or Jonah, I called you Jonah. Jordan, where are you? I would lose you because you were like most of the time the only boy in the clogging group,
Yeah, I was.
and I would lose you, and I'd be like, "Oh dear God, I
Look for
lost
the ascot.
Sal."
Look for the ascot.
Yeah, and then it was like we would see you bouncing somewhere, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, I found him," and I'd be like, "Glued to me right now," and I remember
Couldn't take
all
me
of that.
nowhere.
But I also remember when you would do the talent shows, and Haley thought you were like her big brother, so you packed her around everywhere so that she wouldn't get mud in her clogs and get her can dirty. And I mean, we had so many good memories of all the talent shows and all the bluegrass festivals, and I wouldn't change any of that. That is probably some
Me
of my
neither.
best memories in my entire life. And
Me
I
too.
just feel like I have literally like 750 bonus children in this community. I really do. I get called Mama Liz at Walmart more than I get called my name. So it's just what it is. But I just
I love
wanted to
it.
showcase you because you're such a talent. You're
Thank
such a
you.
talent. And I love you so much. You know I do. You're my extra child. I
I
would
love you too. I'm so glad that I get to be a part of this, and thank you for. I don't care if it gets one view, or if it gets a million. I just, this was just time for me and you to talk. Hence
yeah.
the snarky comments because I kind of forgot we was on the internet right now.
It's okay. You've not said anything. It's fun to get on here and kind of give your personality and for me to show a little bit. And because I've talked to people about how I've worked with kids and how I've worked with offenders and how I've worked with kids in state's custody that had trauma and addiction issues. But I also said I knew I was meant for that lifestyle because I gravitated toward kids that were kind of in a bind and kind of being put into a corner they didn't belong in and kind of being browbeaten, and I would automatically grab those kids and be like, no, you're mine, and I'm going to protect you now, and we're going to find what you shine at, and then we're going to let you shine. And so you kind of were like the first one that really made me realize, okay, no, this is absolutely what I need to be doing. Because
Yeah.
I was working at the wilderness boot camp with those teenagers that were supposed to be in prison but were not, and I was having a lot of success there. And then
Sure.
and then when I got hold of you and you just started climbing, and I thought this is what I'm supposed to do. So you were probably what made me stay in the corrections and continue working with juveniles. And then when I got done with adult parole, go back to counseling juveniles. Um,
Mhm.
and it was my time spent with you, and to know that for some reason I just like to pull kids that aren't maybe just not being just not being treated the way they should or not being seen in the light they should be seen, because adults get really tunnel vision when they have, especially when they're in authoritative roles. Adults get
Mhm.
tunnel vision and they forget that those kids have a personality and they have a plot that they're dealing with, whether they're 8 years old or 18, and you have to accept them and love them and help them move forward and grow. And I when I was watching you, I watched you for about 3 weeks after you told me you were going to the principal's office, and I could see the interaction with some of the teachers when they would come around. You were so happy, and and your chest would be up and your arms would be up and you would be talking with your friends, and the teachers would come around and you would just wilt. And I
Mhm.
thought, oh no, 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 we can't have this, because that's not how he should be interacting with adults, because this is a very smart, bright, young person that just needs to funnel some energy. So you were the one that taught me that that's what I wanted to do with my life, and that is why I stayed with
Wow.
children and went back to children. And I even have kids that are now like 24. I had one get out of prison 4 weeks ago and email me, and they're like, I screwed up, Mama Liz, but I wanted to call you and let you know I screwed up. And I was like, well, thank you, I appreciate that. I was wondering where you were, because normally he would send an email and check in. And
Hmm.
he's like, I'm not going to screw up anymore. And he was like, if I think I'm going to screw up, he's like, I'm going to email you, I'm going to call you, I'm going to Instagram you. He's like, I'm going to use you as a lifeline. And I was like, absolutely. So I'm still out there trying, even though I'm stuck at home with this neuromuscular disorder. But you were the one that did that, so thank you. So you have helped hundreds of kids, and I mean they were in some bad positions. So thank you.
Well, I feel like you're giving me too much credit for just being a squirrely kid that you saw good in, but I appreciate it all the same. And I can't believe that I had such an impact on your life trajectory. And it's just one of those things that's universal. You can call it God, you can call it whatever you want. Some people are just meant to interact, and their interaction is some sort of combustion of goodness that
Yeah,
comes
I
from it.
believe that. Yeah, I believe you're drawn to certain people, and when you're drawn to the right people, and you have the right motivation and the right intentions, magic things
Hmm.
happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so
100%.
far, I think you're absolutely magical, and I think Jonah is too. I think we're going to see wonderful things from
He
him as
is.
well. So
Yeah.
very thankful for you spending this time with me, and I just appreciate it. And I know that everybody that watches this, they're going to love you. We're going to get some feedback. I think StreamYard is actually having some issues because I have viewers. I think it's just StreamYard is having some issues, but that's fine. We'll sort it out, and they can put comments later when this loads onto my page. And you're welcome to check the comments and react and get in there and chit chat with us.
Love it.
And
Love
we
to.
will absolutely do this again. And what we'll
I
do
want to,
is
yeah.
well, I may make you come back and do some Queen songs for us
I would love to.
because that's one of my absolute favorite things to hear you sing, and it's something that I'm super proud of when you do sing because like when Jonah and his friend played Bohemian Rhapsody the other day, I said if that's the worst thing that I've done to kids is give them good music taste. So life well lived. I'm great. So, but we'll get you back to
For
sing
sure.
some more songs and do some other stuff. But I really
Sounds
appreciate
good.
spending time. Is there anything you would like to sing as an outro, or would you just like to say goodbye and thank everybody for being with us?
I will practice up a couple of good Queen tunes for you for the next time. But I will say, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everything that you've done,
Oh
and
yeah,
now getting to a place where we can um, have a conversation like this and catch up. But knowing that it's so interesting that so many people want to be in on the story, so you're still not only helping people, but you're telling stories and you're influencing and you're just putting goodness out. And so
I'm
I'll do
trying.
this anytime you want. I'm happy to be here,
I'm
and I
trying.
love you.
Tell us your social media and everything so they can follow you if they want to.
I'm on Instagram as Jordan Timothy Long. Do not follow me if you don't want to see fitness tips, nutrition tips, mental health tips, emotional awareness tips, cute pictures of my dog, or just mindful things, or pretty sunsets, or cute charcuterie boards.
It's actually one of
Don't.
the biggest pages ever, so that you probably will gain some followers after that.
I love it. And the Nashville Tenors is the Instagram for the band that I'm in. You can also find it on my Instagram. Keep up with us. We're singing lots of good songs and doing things. Uh, we've got a trip planned for October, which will check off all 50 states before the age of 30 for me.
Oh wow, you're gonna have to throw
So
a party for that.
I'm very excited. So
So
we're
is
doing big
that
stuff
your
that
next
I'm excited
show?
about. Not my next one. That's on in October. I'm going to Vegas in September, so
Awesome.
excited about that. Yeah.
Awesome. You'll have to keep us up to date, and I'll keep everybody else up to date so they can follow. And if you ever have anything online with them that we can sneak a peek at, let me know because I would
Oh
love
yeah.
to share it, share the link, and let everybody keep up and follow you because you have such an interesting life. But this is just the beginning because you're super young. This is just the beginning. You're gonna keep climbing and you're gonna keep growing, and I'm just excited to see where you end up. And yeah, I've got a grandbaby coming the first week in September, so you're gonna have to come visit the grandbaby.
I'll be home.
As a little
I'll
girl,
be
I'm gonna
home.
make the meanest little girl on the whole hillside.
That's my baby.
So you're
That's
gonna
my
have
little
to
baby.
absolutely come back and visit with
Yeah,
us.
I will.
Wayne says hello and sorry you missed it until now. He's going to watch it
Wayne.
again, and thank you so much. That was sweet of you, Wayne. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Wayne.
I have a great little family here, and I'm sure they're going to eat you up. So we'll plan this again soon. Thank you so much for your
Sounds
time,
good.
and I
Of
love
course.
you to pieces.
I love you back.
Okay, I'll let you get back to your world now, and I'm going to go do my dishes.
Me too.
Bye, guys.
Bye. I love you.